Kitsap High School. My name is Ben Blankenship. Tonight in the booth I have Josh Knight on my left and Bo Pugh on my right, both former wrestlers. Tonight, SK Wolves take on the CK Cougars. CK ranked number 3 in state and SK ranked number 5. So we're going to have quite the matchup tonight. Josh, what do you think we're going to see from CK?
I expect a prolific matchup between these two great schools. We have South Kitsap coming off an incredible winning streak. They haven't lost for years. And then we have CK, which is very high in the state ratings and always has a very strong wrestling team. And I expect no different this year.
Any specific wrestlers you see from Central Kitsap?
Well, CK has the big four: Jason Sensel, Mike Ferricks, Josh Martinelli, and Chad Eichmeyer, all state guys. They're going to be great this year, and I expect them to give a good match here tonight.
We're gonna go down to the floor now as we get the starting lineup for SK.
We'd like to give special thanks to our junior varsity official, Mr. Dave Harding, tonight. Our varsity officials are veterans Jim McCool and Scotty Crone. And now for introductions. At 103 pounds, wrestling for the Cougars, Austin Templeton. His opponent, wrestling for the Wolves, is Tyler Hoskins.
I think maybe South forgot they were wrestling tonight.
What? Today's Tuesday? Oh, it's Wednesday.
All right, I'm told we're ready. I'm sorry, folks. Once again, Austin Templeton wrestling at 103 for Central Kitsap. One out, Austin. His opponent from South Kitsap is Tyler Hoskins. Do we have a 103-pounder?
Oh, no.
All right, 112 pounds for the wrestling Cougars, Ryan Nunez. His opponent from South Kitsap is Brandon Kelly. At 119 pounds, wrestling for Central Kitsap is Tyson Hicks.
Tag team matchup or something?
At 119 pounds, South Kitsap's Jacob Coppinger. According to my roster, at 125 pounds, Central Kitsap has Kyle Coyote. His opponent from South Kitsap, Dustin Johnson. At 130 pounds, we have two wrestlers that have wrestled before. Donnie DeRusha, Central Kitsap. His opponent from South, Micah Kipperberg. At 135 pounds, wrestling for the Cougars tonight is Chad Eichmeyer. His opponent from South Kitsap, James Thompson. If you see two wrestlers, it's very possible that one of those will be not wrestling. Okay, 140 pounds, wrestling for the Cougars, Jason Sensel. And for South Kitsap at 140, Craig Center. $145-pound class for Central Kitsap is Mike Frericks. His opponent from South Kitsap, Patrick Kelly. At 152 pounds, representing the Cougars, Josh Martinelli. And for South Kitsap, John Sisney. At 160 pounds, representing the Cougars, Mike Custer. And for South Kitsap, Jacob Cathan. £171 class, John Winsper, Central Kitsap. Wrestling for South Kitsap is Joan Potts. John Potts, 189. At 215 pounds, wrestling for Central Kitsap, Scott Jennings. His opponent from South Kitsap is Devin Spencer. And the big guys, 275-pound unlimited class, Robbie McNamara, Central Kitsap. His opponent from South, Clayton Hutchins. Ladies and gentlemen, I have made an error. I missed the 189 class, and I apologize for that. Wrestling at 189 for Central Kitsap is Daniel Mayfield. For South Kitsap, Casey Watkins. It's Clayton Hutchins. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag Team captains to the center of the mat for the toss of the coin, please.
Welcome to the main
Ladies and
event.
gentlemen, tonight we'll start the wrestling program at 135 pounds. That will be an odd-numbered match.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Central Kitsap has won the toss. They will take choice of position on the even-numbered matches.
Okay, welcome back. So, Bo, what do we expect to see from SK tonight?
Well, Ben, Coach Uterberg has put together a
All righty, we'll start the
fine,
program
talented
at
squad
103
again this year.
pounds. I
He
anticipate
has,
substitutions. Check that, I'm
Brandon
sorry,
Kelly,
135
Jake
pounds.
Officer, both soft
My roster says
guys.
Chad Eichmeyer, Central Kitsap, James Thompson, South
State
Kitsap.
candidate, Dustin
Wrestlers,
Johnson,
please check in.
Well, at 130, Micah Kipper, famous Kipper candidate, and Jacob Kaplan, Casey Watkins, and Devin Spencer rounding out in the heavier divisions.
Definitely a solid lineup. Not any weaknesses really anywhere. The low weights, the middle weights, or the high weights. What do you think, Josh?
I think that the heavyweight Clayton Hutchins, this is his first year wrestling, so he's a little inexperienced, but he is a great athlete and a really strong kid, and he has a lot of heart. So really, this South team doesn't have any true weaknesses, just a little inexperience at some weights.
Yep. Tonight we're starting with 130 pounds. Micah Kipperberg, again one of the famous Kipperbergs. Last year, his brother Derek went to state at what weight?
119, I believe.
119. Micah already getting after the 2-point takedown. For those of you at home, we're here to explain a little bit about wrestling for you. Takedown. Josh, why don't you tell them what a takedown is?
A takedown is when you get control of your opponent on the mat. As you just saw, Kipperberg right there, he brought his opponent from the upright position to into his control, and so that is worth 2 points.
Already going for back points.
He's going to get some near fall points right here. He's on his back.
DeRusha already struggling in less than a minute into the first round.
Looks like Mike used that good old arm right on
That looks like a pin to me.
Micah's not wasting any time. Tonight, with such a great matchup, we're not looking to see a lot of pins, but a lot of back and forth wrestling, but definitely not from Micah. He's come up through SK ever since he was a freshman, wrestling 103 and then 112, and tonight 130, putting on some weight this summer, I guess. Working the back points.
That is a 6-point pin right there for South Kitsap. They'll jump out to an early lead, 6-0.
That might just be the fastest match of the night.
Yeah, I expect each match to at least go into the third round. All this competition going on tonight, I expect every match to be hard fought.
Definitely a great start for SK tonight. We're going to move on to Craig Center now, 140 pounds, and he will be wrestling Jason Stencil. Tell us a little about Jason Stencil, Bo.
Well, Jason Stencil, he didn't go to state last year, but he was definitely that kind of caliber wrestler. He's a very good wrestler, very good, as all CK wrestlers are, pros. And then, yeah, he's a really tough wrestler, and Craig's going to have his hands full here.
Craig's been known to be definitely a hard worker, star football player this year. Getting in there in the weight room, building some muscle, and definitely he looks ready. He looks determined.
And Craig is no stranger to the wrestling mat as well. He's been up here at South Kitsap since 9th grade wrestling, and he's just really a great competitor, and he's going to be an animal next year. I expect him to go to state, and he even has a pretty good chance this year, so I expect this to be a great match.
Both wrestlers start the first round, of which there'll be 3 tonight, if they go that far without being pinned. Both rounds will be 2 minutes long, and we're here to teach you a little bit of wrestling and help you enjoy this match tonight.
They had an out-of-bounds penalty right there. They have to go right back to the middle. Both wrestlers were out of the larger circle, and so they got to go back to the middle and try to work in that middle so they don't get out again.
Center trying to work a shuck as Stencil goes for the front headlock. Both wrestlers coming out very aggressively. Normally you see wrestlers come out and one will be dominant, but both are actually working very well to get their inside position and trying to take down those legs for that 2-point takedown.
Looks like Craig Center right there trying to go for the short drag. He didn't quite get it though.
I expect these wrestlers to be utilizing the outside of the ring because they're going to want to not get themselves to any positions where they'll be able to score points on them. So they're going to want to be in that position to where if they're on their back, they're going to need to get out of bounds.
Looks like Center is stuck in the front headlock, but he's got his hand down there on the Stencil's elbow, taking away all his strength and just kind of riding out. Stencil coming out with power moves.
Yeah, they really work that front headlock in the wrestling room in there. They teach them not only the front headlock moves, but they also teach them the counter to that with his
Craig Center does the same move on Stencil and shucks him off to the left and then takes his 2 points.
Looks like Center perfected that move a little bit better than Stencil, though. Stencil was trying to work it, and Center did his first one and just did it perfectly. Great job by Craig Center.
Definitely. Center's going to be working now to take Stencil down on the mat, flatten him out, and put it on his back, which is basically wrestling in a nutshell. Right now, looking for the cradle. And that's the first round. 2 minutes are up. We have 4 more. The score is 2-0 with Center up. Team score is 6-0 with a pin by Micah Kipperberg.
And Center's going to get down here so he can score some points. He's going to try to get an escape right here.
It looks like Stencil is going to take his defer position, give Center 1 point. That way they can both be on their feet.
Yeah, Stencil did that so he could try and score the 2-point takedown now. instead of wasting a lot of time and not being able to get any points other than near fall points.
Now, it may not seem logical to go into the down position, but actually, center tying up Stenzel's arms, gets him on his back, working for back points.
Stenzel's really trying to fight off from his back right there, and he succeeds in doing that.
A 3-point near ball. That ups the score to, if I believe it, so 8. 8 now for Craig Center to zip for Stenzel.
Yeah, the SK Wolves are going to really need to
nice ankle pick.
Get some points out far here, and they're going to really need to just score some points right off the bat, as they're doing now.
We're going to see how well Stenzel fights back from this. He's definitely not going to like that score. The only way we can see him winning by some points is definitely just doing the same thing that Center is doing to him. Why don't you tell us a little about what happens down in the wrestling room that makes Center so prepared for us, Bo?
Well, the coaches down there do a really good job. They explain, they do a lot of drills on their moves, and they do a lot of conditioning also, so they're ready for matches like this. As you can see, Center's not tired at all. He's just going strong, dominating this match.
You can definitely tell now that he's in the dominant position as he's in control. Stenzel's actually the one who's having to do most of the work here, and Craig just moving around it. Really being the dominant wrestler here. And that's really what it takes, hard work. Whoever works the hardest out here is definitely going to be victorious.
Yeah, you can never work hard enough when you're a wrestler. You know, when you're not working, you know a competitor of yours is working hard. So you always have to be on your guard, always training, and you know, off season all year. You just have to train very hard to be able to come in a match like this and come away with the victory.
Stenzel's going to pick the neutral position, trying to look for the 2-point takedown rather than looking for an escape, because Center's just working him down there. Again, trying to go for the front headlock. Center just buying time, looking for a way to take advantage of that. Looks like a single leg.
I think what Stenzel's looking for right now is a throw so he can get himself back in this match. But Center is really giving him a hard fight.
Looks like if Craig Center stays on his guard a little bit and kind of doesn't try to be so aggressive, he'll probably just waste the clock, and he'll come away with the victory, it seems, in this match.
Again, working the front headlock, trying to exhaust Center by pushing his head down on the mat. There's nothing more painful, really, than that. Well, I'm sure there's lots of more painful stuff than that, but it does gas you out. Again, tonight is such a phenomenal matchup between SK and CK. Both really great teams, but SK really has a lot on the line tonight with their streak just recently breaking 100 consecutive
There was Center
matches.
with a 2-point takedown there.
Up to score 10-0. Stenzel trying to get away, but not being successful.
Another thing about these two teams is Central Kitsap is a little bit more known as a little bit have attitude, and
The bad boy school.
Yeah, as they showed last year with one of their wrestlers getting disqualified from the state playoffs. And they really just have a lot of attitude, and sometimes I think that doesn't work to their advantage.
Center gives Stenzel a point, moves in for the 2 points, and there it is. Right on top of those hips. The wrestler with hip control does have the takedown points. And Center comes off with a victory, 12-1. Looks like a major decision, does it not?
You know, it's really key for SK. They need to win these matches where CK doesn't have their big guns. If they're going to win this match, they need to win the close matches, and they need to keep the matches that CK has their big guns. They need to keep those close as well and not give up lots of points.
Lots of spectacular wrestling by Craig Center, and another spectacular wrestler Pat Kelly. Tell us a little about Pat Kelly, Josh.
Well, Pat Kelly has a brother on this team, Brandon Kelly, and they're also a wrestling family, just like the Kipperbergs. Pat Kelly has also been wrestling since 9th grade up here at South. And really, I don't think you can get much better than Pat Kelly. He's been strong all 3 years he's been here, and I expect him to come away with a victory here on this match.
You notice Pat's not really an aggressive wrestler. Definitely takes his time, definitely is smart when he wrestles. That may sound kind of paradoxic, a smart wrestler, but definitely he takes a lot of time, a lot of planning what goes into what he's going to do.
Yeah, Pat really knows the game of wrestling. He's kind of grown up around it, and he's been wrestling for a long time. So he's definitely a smart wrestler.
Well, Pat's opponent tonight is, if I'm reading this right, it's Chad Eichmeyer, who is currently undefeated and is a favorite to win his weight in the state tournament. So Pat's got a tough match on his hands here.
Pat working the single leg, trying to go for the double, and 2 points. 2 points.
Yes, he does
There we
get that
go.
2 points.
Eichmeyer's not going to be happy about that.
I imagine neither is the CK sideline over there. South jumped out to a pretty big lead.
Eichmeyer trying to work his way to the outside for an escape. Gets brought back to the center. Who's going to go down? Eichmeyer looking to escape for 1 point or work for a reversal, which will be 2 points. And then Pat is going to be looking to definitely work him down on the mat and see how well he can put him on his back. Eichmeyer sits out to stand up, peels off those hands. Pat's right on him. Not giving it up without a fight. Come to the neutral position. Eichmeyer scores his first point. The thing about Pat is when he comes in lightning fast. I wrestled him myself, and you end up on your back not knowing what happened to you. Pat's a junior at SK this year. Definitely looking to head up the team as probably a captain next year, as one of the better juniors on the team. Which comes from a lot of experience in Port Orchard Junior Highs. Both Sedgwick, Marcus, and Cedar providing great wrestlers this year.
Well, as we head into the second round, it looks like Eichmeyer is going to take the neutral position, thinking he can take Pat down. But, looks like he was wrong. Pat gets 2 points there.
A very, very beautiful double leg. You can tell Pat's been looking forward to this all year. Definitely the test tonight. See how hard you work.
The intensity of this matchup is just profound. Both wrestlers are giving it their all. They're going to be giving it their all for the whole match. And it's going to be really tiring for both wrestlers. And I expect this match to be very good.
Kelly takes the top position. Working to take those legs down. Goes for a single leg. He's going to want to keep his head inside and take out that bottom leg. Look for some sort of chop or a trip. And they end up coming back to the inside. Now, if I remember correctly, that's a 20-foot diameter circle out there. And it's pretty amazing how you can get thrown around the entire time, but when you're on your back, that out-of-bounds line is so far away. Eichmeyer looks a little lost as Pat Kelly's not giving up.
And Pat Kelly
Looks like
will...
Pat Kelly's going to get dinged for a locking hands penalty here. That's 1 point for Eichmeyer. You hate to see that.
Now, can you explain the locking hands to the viewers at home, Bo?
Right, locking hands is when your fingers just touch each other. They don't even have to lock necessarily, but when the opposing wrestler's on the mat and you lock your hands, that's a 1 point penalty for them.
Pat Kelly with 4 points. Eichmeyer with 3. almost getting to the takedown, but Pat Kelly wrestling smart and getting to the outside before anything really bad happens to him. Both wrestlers in the neutral, looking for the takedown.
It's like a stall warning has been called against Pat Kelly, so he needs to start wrestling or he's going to give up another point.
Less than 30 seconds left in the second round. Both wrestlers probably look like they're going to go on to the third, which is a true test of endurance. How well can you wrestle in the third round when it really comes down to it? Who's worked out, who's been putting the time in doing push-ups, sit-ups, and basically going through hell to make themselves tough.
It's also who's got the guts. A lot of wrestling is mental. They say it's about 60% mental.
60% mental.
Yeah. So, you know, it might just come down to who's mentally strong enough.
Looks like this match is going to go down to the wire here. Pat Kelly is leading 5-3 now with that escape. And I doubt that CK will let up at all here.
Eichmeyer gives Pat Kelly 1 point to try and go for the takedown for 2 and even up the score to 5 even. But that doesn't look to be the case. Maybe a poor move on Eichmeyer's part. But no, he gets a double for 2. Both wrestlers working to the outside. Kelly now is going to take the down position and more than likely go for the escape. If there was anything that the wrestling coaches stress, it's that SK stands up. And it looks like we have some points given to Eichmeyer.
Eichmeyer got 2 points for the takedown there, but he also got 1 point because Pat Kelly was called for stalling again.
Pat Kelly taking the escape from Eichmeyer. Both in the neutral position. The score is 6-6. 1:30 on the clock, a little less. Both are going to be working for that takedown, and this is where it comes down to guts or glory. Guts and glory, and the winner wins, the loser loses. Who works harder? And it looks like Pat's working for the inside, but Eichmeyer gets a quick spin, lets him go, tries to get him again. Eichmeyer with 8, Pat with 7. Pat looking for the takedown, trying to get 2, put himself up. Looking a little gassed out. Eichmeyer's going to let him go. Pat Kelly looks like he's tired out there. And we may have a blood call.
It looks like
Holding
Pat's
his
really
nose.
dragging.
Both wrestlers in the neutral position. Score is 8-10. Kelly just needs a takedown to put this thing into overtime. Eichmeyer definitely coming on aggressive. Doesn't want to let Kelly get in there on him. Kelly tried both times for the shot. It looks like he's exhausted. Now he's going to have to work up to 4 points at the end. And this is why Eichmeyer looks like he's going to be going to state. But you can be sure that Kelly is going to be back to wrestle him there too. Small trouble with headgear. You can hear the CK fans getting a little riled up now.
Yeah, for the first 2 SK wins, you know, you got a close match here, and this is what the CK fans are looking for.
Both wrestlers shakes hands with coaches. We make way for 152 pounds. We're going to get ready to see John Cisney wrestle. John Cisney, since junior high, coming up, definitely wrestling varsity all the time, putting in a lot of effort, not just wrestling, but with Kempo, karate, definitely getting good on his feet. So that's what we're going to see him for.
This should be a great match between John Cisney and Josh Martinelli. Josh Martinelli is really a strong wrestler.
Good correction there, Josh. It looks like CK is going to pull a trickery and put Jason Sensel in there at 152.
Now, why would that be so trickery, Bo?
Well, it really confuses. I mean, if you're a wrestler and you think you're going to wrestle one guy, and another guy comes out, and you've been preparing for this other guy, it kind of screws you up.
Definitely with a lot of scouting going on between both teams. Both teams going to different dual matches with other schools. Watching the wrestling. Watching Sensel get his 2 points. Definitely coming on very aggressive. But Cisney comes right back, giving it to him too.
This is a rematch of their match last year. They wrestled at the CK match last year. I think Sensel came out on top by about a point at the very end.
I think it was a point.
So this is going to be another good match right here.
Cisney definitely looking for blood, for payback. The Sensel explodes off the bottom. Not quite fast enough for Cisney. Cisney working the head down, trying to get Sensel to tire up, to waste some of that energy trying to come off the bottom. Both wrestlers working. Cisney not giving up. Sensel goes for the Granby roll to roll over both shoulders, kind of kick out of what Cisney's his pressure. No good because Cisney just rolls with him.
That's another thing that CK is famous for, their rolls. They like that Granby roll.
Cisney's working the hip pressure to keep Sensel flat on his stomach, but Sensel's not going to have any of that. You see Cisney trying to run with it, and that's the end of the first round. 4 minutes left if they can go that long. Scores 2-2, and it looks like Cisney's going to take the down position.
Cisney almost was collecting some near fall points there. CK looks like they were on their back, but no points were awarded.
Cisney getting very, very close. And now we're going to see Cisney take the bottom. Definitely trying to go for that explosion. SK stands up. That's what they teach you down in the wrestling room. Definitely, they've been doing it since '92, and that's why that might be part of the reason why they have such an undefeated streak in dual matches.
Oh, that's right, Ben. Coach Huderberg, he's been here for about as long as the streak's been going, and probably a couple more years beyond that.
Long time.
Yes, he's just instituted a lot of things, and they really work, as his streak shows.
Also, the coaching staff is head up by Dave Dias, Chad Nass, and Mr. Coppinger. Both all state placers, first place when they wrestled at South Kitsap High School. Ages ago, it seems to them, but not that long. I actually believe Chad Nass was part of the 100 streak in '94, I believe. Dave Dias wrestling in the 70s along with Coppinger. So there's a lot of tradition here, and I think you're going to see a lot of tradition tonight as you see SK with 10 points, 10 team points, and CK with 3. Both wrestlers in the neutral position. Cisney looks to be the dominant now. Oh. But he gets his 2-point takedown as they move to the edge of the mat. Looking a little shifty there. Sensel with an explosive sit-out, but he doesn't get far with it. Cisney definitely staying on him.
That looked to be the switch, and John just re-switched with him. and didn't give him any points.
Picks the ankle, and Sensel rolls out of it. Looks precarious. Now moving Sisney to his back with a roll through for a 2-point reversal. Score is tied 4-4. Just under halfway through the second match. Now we're going to see both wrestlers still being aggressive, but still trying to work for those 2-point takedowns. We got a mess of legs down there as both wrestlers are probably going to move it to the outside. But it looks like Stencil gets the trip and 2-point takedown.
Yeah, Stencil just did manage to get that takedown at the edge of the mat.
We're going to look to see. Sisney has an explosive switch. So he may go for the 2-point reversal, or he may stand up for one. Either way, score's tied. Looks like Stencil lets him go for one, thinking he can get his takedown. Definitely a crucial part. No hands up, no blocking, no nothing by Stencil. Almost like a boxer, a very cocky boxer. Stencil with a single. Tries to go for the trip, but Sisney puts him on his back. Already going for back points. Looks
so
like
trying to put him in the Saturday night ride there.
Looks like a Saturday night ride with those legs getting tied up. Keeping Stencil on his back. Moving now. Ups the score for himself. Now 10-6 with Sisney in the lead. Working for an armbar. There he has it. And we may see the Auburn. There it is. Sisney's going to put him down another half and roll him over his back. Unfortunately, the time's up. You would have seen a great pinning combination by Sisney. You could tell he's a little disappointed he didn't get it earlier. You know, you can see Dias on the sideline. That's Dias' favorite pinning combination. So he's going to be pretty happy.
Looks like Sisney will take the bottom and try to get an escape here.
Actually, it looks like Stencil's going to let him go again. Up the score 11-6. That's getting dangerous for Stencil. He's going to have to score some major points, a takedown, and then some back points.
Stencil really needs some points, so that was actually a wise decision by him, because that's the only way he can score points with John on bottom.
Put
John
the head and arm. The head and arm of death. Stencil's on his back, and this is the hard work. Looked like it almost paid off for Sisney. He'll remain calm, very sportsmanlike. Looks like a 3-point near fall for Sisney.
That'll be potentially dangerous, it looks like. Don't think he had an arm in there with that head.
It looks like Sisney almost choked him out. Definitely, when he saw the opportunity, he went for it. Stencil trying to regain his breath.
That's one way to make him tired.
Sisney standing up, being strong. Gets a word of advice from Coach Nass out here. More than likely telling him to stay after it. Stay ahead.
Right now, John is ahead by 8, which means if he keeps that will be a major decision win, and the Wolves will get 4 points for that.
Right now, Sisney hoping to put him on his back again. He's done it twice so far tonight and gotten close, but definitely wants that pin. I don't think Sisney would be very satisfied with a major decision.
Yeah, pin is really the ultimate thing you go out there and look to get, because that's 16 points, and that'll just put you up ahead significantly.
Sisney working the back leg, not letting Stencil up. Looked like a Kansas to you, Bo?
That's what it looked like for a minute there. Got too far out in front, though.
Sisney going to go for the throw. But Stencil stays tough with him and gets his 1-point escape. Both wrestlers are in the neutral, looking for the takedown, but Sisney gets off balance, which gives Stencil 2 points. Working the inside. Cisney looking to stand up. Getting himself ready to move. 20 seconds left in the end of the third. Gives him one escape. He's up by 7, 17-10. Cisney looking. Hooks the leg to get 2 points. A very nice hook to get that hip control. As you can see, we have 2 referees out there to make sure tonight. Cisney comes out victorious, 18-10. That's a year's worth of hard work paid off.
Yes, it is. That's a huge win for SK. Get the major decision. They're up 14-3 right now. But Jacob Cathan coming up to wrestle at 160.
Tell us a little about Jacob Cathan, Josh.
Jake Cathan, if I had a cent for every time I saw his face just go crazy. And this kid is an animal out there on the mat. He is the definition of a wrestler. Jake Cathan, he knows what he's doing out there, and he's very good. I expect this to be a great match right here.
And now with us up in the booth, as we say goodbye to Bo, we have another former wrestler, Matt Lauer.
How you doing?
He's up here with us, and what can you tell us about Jake Cathan tonight?
Jake Cathan is very intense. He is probably, I'd call him the definition of a wrestler. He's gritty. He'll do whatever it takes to win.
Definitely. As you can see by his little dance, definitely getting set up, ready to go as he's wrestling Mike Custer. Both wrestlers pawing at each other, looking for a distraction, anything that'll give them the upper hand as they go in. Going for the grapple.
Whoa.
Good thing the cheerleaders weren't there.
Good call. Those cheerleaders might have been squashed.
That's only going to make Jake madder.
Yeah, that will definitely only make Jake madder. One of those furious wrestlers who lets his anger and his discipline speak for his actions, which makes him a really great wrestler. Wrestled since basically he
Jake's
got
going
out of
for
diapers.
a throw.
Looking for the
Almost
throw.
had it in there. He is pumped. You can see it in his walk. He wants to take him apart.
Custer's not going to have any of that, though. Definitely being aggressive. Almost these shoves to the face to block the other wrestler's sight. Almost turning into punches.
Most definitely.
You would definitely not want to see these two in a dark alley. It might not be so civilized.
Looks like Custer's
the
getting
underarm.
loaded up for a throw. And there he goes. Couldn't
Kind
complete.
of a quick drop to the mat, trying to throw Jake, which is almost might be potentially dangerous, depending on his hold.
Yeah, that
But he's
could be
gotta watch
considered a
lock
drop on the
hands.
head.
No points, and less than 30 seconds to go in the first.
We're still
Both
jockeying for
wrestlers,
position.
They're going to duke it out, playing grapple with one another, definitely expending each other's energy, and this looks like it's going to be one of those matches that goes all the way down to the end.
I think you got it right there, Ben.
Jake Cathan going all the way to regionals last year. One step away from state, looking to be very, very competitive in 160 this year. Actually, just coming off of a concussion at the SK Invite.
Yeah, that just shows a little bit of his toughness.
Definitely.
I love that. I love how he gets loaded up when he's on bottom. He says
Jake
that.
Cathan load up.
Yeah, he says that loads up his muscles and it aligns him in just the right way. I think it psychs the other guy out.
Custer's going to let Jake get one, the first point of the night. That may be the only point Jake scores.
That might be the deciding point. You're right.
That may be the only point of this match. If both wrestlers try the grapple thing, both looking for a throw, coach is definitely not going to want them to play that game. Definitely get in there and do some technical wrestling as opposed to barnyard brawl. What do you think, Josh?
I have a feeling that these guys are going to be on their feet most of the night because both have a great feat of strength. And they're really just slapping each other out there. Just really, it's more of a boxing match, it looks like, out there. And they're going to stay on their feet most of the time.
Somebody's going to get called for a technical here. They keep it up.
Definitely when both teams teach aggression, they teach you how to use it wisely, as nobody's getting anything here.
They're out of
Both
bounds.
wrestlers are out. Custer looking a little cocky,
No
but Jake's
points.
not having any of that.
And you can hear the SK crowd definitely not like
1
that.
point for Jake for unsportsmanlike conduct from Custer.
And the referees agree.
You see a little bit of that bad SK attitude coming out right there, as it looks like the guy from CK was talking a little trash down there.
You can always tell with a guy who has a tattoo, it's going to be very, very hardcore when they wrestle.
Jake looks like they're definitely out of bounds, though. Custer's still going for that throw. Looks like it's his bread and butter.
Both wrestlers working the head. Custer's working the head as Jake goes for the throw. Again, going to the edge of the mat, taking out a referee. Custer having a conversation with the ref, probably asking him out for a hamburger afterwards. Unfortunately, Custer's going to have to wrestle back all the points that he's given Jake. And that's going to be tough because, like we said before, wrestling takes a lot of endurance. And both
Definitely.
wrestlers, the whole time, have been showing how tough they are. Jake, both wrestlers working for the inside position, both going back and forth. Nearing the halfway mark in the match. 42 seconds now through the second quarter. Excuse me, second round. Moving back to the center. Looks like we see both coaches.
Looks like we have some blood.
There's another characteristic of Jake Cathin's matches that they're always very emotional.
You can see the coaches giving a word of advice on both sides. More than likely, knock off that grappling stuff and get some takedowns.
Definitely. Needs to stop tying up with him. Just try and shoot.
We haven't seen much of how well these wrestlers wrestle in the down position tonight, how well they are when they're on their hands and knees as opposed to their feet. And that's key. But we haven't seen any of it tonight.
It's all been on the feet.
I can tell you Jake's fairly decent on the bottom. Don't know about Custer, but all we've seen is them on their feet tonight. Custer maybe should be on the boxing team, maybe not wrestling.
Yeah.
Both going for the bear hug. Jake trying to go for the throw.
Seems like
1
every
point
couple
for
seconds
Custer.
they're out of bounds here. That's why SK is getting some points. It looks like stalling.
Actually, Custer has just received a point. Looks like stalling from Jake. Definitely not unsportsmanlike conduct.
Right.
Otherwise,
I think they call
coaches
this.
might come out there and wrestle Jake. Another point.
These stalling
Custer.
points are from Jake backing up. Jake's been warned before.
Jake now probably getting very upset, being very aggressive, going for the inside.
You always have to worry a little bit when Jake gets too aggressive. Liable to make a mistake every now and then.
Definitely don't want to lose your cool. Scored now 2-2, and all of it's just been given away. None of these wrestlers have actually worked for their points. End of the second quarter. 1 point for Red. Looks like a little backsash from Custer. The referee tonight taking a timeout to discuss more than likely Custer's attitude and Jake's stalling.
Yeah, I'd agree with that call. It seems that Custer's using some excessive violence there down there. Well, he's just hitting Jake Cathin right in the back of the head. And the referee is going to call that for some points for Jake Cathin.
Definitely, wrestling is a sport of respect.
Definitely.
And it looks like Custer's not showing a lot of respect to the ref. Until now, it looks like he's playing a little kiss-up.
How about this SK crowd? They're the loudest I've ever heard them.
Definitely on their feet, rooting for Jake. Both wrestlers going to the neutral. Jake up by 1 over Custer, 3-2.
Jake's got a leg.
Now, if Jake can win this match, even by just 1 point, that'll put the team up another 3 points, which would make the score 17-3. As right now it stands 14-3 with SK in the lead.
It's a huge point swing from 17-3 and then 14-6. That's a huge point swing right there. I'd say this is a pretty pivotal match.
Into the 6th match of the night.
South is definitely going to want to get the points while they can because, as I mentioned earlier, the heavier weights are a little bit more inexperienced. And so most of their strong points are in the middle to lighter weights. And they're going to really want to jump out to a big lead here.
Definitely.
With SK also with the more inexperienced heavier weights, they can come back with very experienced little weights. 112, 119, and 125. Brandon Kelly, Jacob Coppinger, and Dustin Johnson. All powerhouses, all fantastic wrestlers. Maybe see some pins there, maybe not. You could see a great performance later tonight by Devin Spencer at 215. Also Casey Watkins, and we can see something.
Think about Devin Spencer. He usually wrestles 189, but it seems that they're going for a little bit of strategy here and putting him at 215.
A little SK trickery. Yep. Now, no offense to Jacob Cathan, but the team, when you play boxing match out there like Custer and Jacob Cathan have done tonight, you get what's called Cathan disease. Matt, you want to tell them what Cathan disease is?
You take one look at his face and you'll know.
If you take a look at Jacob Cathan's face after tonight, you can see he might look like a zombie.
Yeah, that's one thing a lot of people compare him to as a zombie.
Pretty banged
after
up.
his wrestling matches.
The wrestlers that might not be the best looking guys in the world, but definitely they're the toughest, and you can tell.
Roscoe getting the crowd up on its feet.
Third round, a minute 50. Oh, no, it looks like 2 minutes. We're going to go over 2 minutes with Custer taking the down position. Finally, we're going to see some different wrestling. Down there, looking for Custer to get the escape, and if he can, he'll even up the score. And then we're going to see Jake working his magic on top. So, SK crowd getting him pumped up. We're ready to go. After we clean up for some blood, both wrestlers probably a little thankful for this little break. Definitely getting their second win back. We're going to see it right now. Custer in the down, Cathan on top. In the last round, 2 minutes to go. Custer works an escape right off the bat. So Jake's going to have to work to take the lead.
If this match keeps going like it's been going, I think that we'll go into some extra rounds here.
Again, back up to the same grappling. The battle of the biceps.
Jake needs to shoot.
Cathan is going to definitely take his time here. You can tell as he's only got a minute 30 left that he needs these 2 points. Otherwise, it'll come to overtime. And in overtime, it'd be just the same case. But who gets what? Whoa. Out of bounds. Looks like Custer playing aggressive. May see some points for that. Looks like he headbutted him in the nose. Jake not taking his eyes off of Custer's hips. Custer,
very
with
important.
the weirdest stance I have probably ever seen. Almost looks like a mongoose out there. Both wrestlers working the head, back and forth. Again, in the battle of the biceps. Working it towards the edge. Custer gets underneath. Goes for a front headlock. Both wrestlers are out of bounds.
I don't think Custer has taken a shot this whole match, and it seems that Cathan is really doing all the work to get the takedowns.
You got that right.
Cathan really grinding it tonight.
That's one thing about this Wolves team is that they'll grind it. They'll grind it on you, and you just don't know it'll hit you.
Jake's
Grind
working
it
around.
left and right. Jake looking for the throw, looking for the throw.
He's going to come out on top.
And Custer takes 2, gets around him. Jake's going to have to get that takedown now or he's in trouble. He's going to work off the bottom, try and get his escape, work it out.
He might be able to convert a reversal here.
20 seconds.
He's got a leg in there.
If he can just spin
He's
Custer
got to
around,
keep.
he can go for the
He's got to
reversal.
keep him in bounds. They're gonna.
Custer working, looks like a leg ride and an armbar at the same time, trying to keep Jacob in bounds. Catherine's got 9 seconds for a reversal. More than likely, if he doesn't,
Custer's
Custer's
going
gonna let him go.
Oh
No, he's gonna jump right on him.
Needs a takedown right
Jake's
here.
gonna get that
Jake's
takedown
gonna-
right now.
Jake's
It's
got
all
to get
over.
it. 2, 1.
Come on, Jake. And that's the clock. As Custer wins by 1.
Hard fought match.
A very, very well fought match.
Custer barely pulling it out.
You can hear the disappointment from the SK crowd. Again, Custer with 5, Catherine with 4. A very, very hard fought match, which is exactly what we expected to see tonight, and which is exactly what we expect to see out of John Potts.
Look at John Potts. He's slimmed up some since last year.
Yeah, definitely with levy failures and whatnot and canceling of junior high sports, John Potts came up as a freshman to wrestle at SK as a 215er, losing some weight, coming down to 171, trimming up, turning fat into muscle, and definitely becoming an asset to the SK team.
Definitely.
He lost all that baby fat and turned it into some man muscle. There, talking about John Potts.
Yeah. State alternate last year.
Definitely 171 is one of those tough weights where you get all the wrestlers who are medium frames and that bulk up become 171 pounders. So you see a lot of competition every year at the state tournament, really at any wrestling match between 171ers. You can see a lot of competition on who's going for the inside position right now between both wrestlers. Hey, how about those new mats?
Those look great.
They're nice. I helped unload them, and boy, they are heavy. I mean, they may not look all that big, but they are the heaviest things you've ever picked up.
I believe you.
Former wrestlers, that's a pretty looking mat. Brand new this year. The Wolves would be very, very, very upset if they took a loss on it. The very first time they wrestle CK.
Potts
almost in trouble.
Looked like he was trying for a fireman's.
Potts bringing him back to the center. Wrestling
Circle.
John Winsper.
He's got the
Central
single leg.
Kitsap.
Sucking it up.
Winsper working the whizzer as John tries to go for a single leg. Both wrestlers, they come back up. Law of physics. Equal forces, they go up. Both men looking to be the top man, the high man. High man always wins. Winsper is going to defer to John. And Potts is going to take the down position. John Potts is a junior this year. And actually, a very, very smart junior. Enrolled a lot of AP classes, a lot of tough classes. A very talented kid. Also
Yes.
plays the guitar.
And the accordion.
And the accordion?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a well-rounded kid right there. Plays the accordion. Nobody cooler than that.
I didn't know you
yeah.
could play the accordion and wrestle. Wow.
Apparently so. These
Winsper going to give Potts 1 point for an escape.
These
Look for the
CK guys,
takedown.
mostly working for takedowns. They don't care much to ride the guy.
Yeah, you've seen SK, or CK, excuse me, not really wanting to take the top position, knowing what happens when you when you go on top of an SK wrestler, they stand up on you.
Or possibly a reversal.
Yeah, which is even worse.
Seems that the Central Kitsap tonight is not really being all that aggressive for trying to shoot in there and get takedowns.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
They're mostly just trying to muscle SK, and so far it doesn't really look like it's been working to their advantage.
Or at least as we get higher up in the weight classes, we'll see more of that. But when we get down to the little guys tonight, we're going to definitely see a lot of technical wrestling, a lot of in and out bolt of lightning action. You saw a little bit of it with Micah Kipperberg at the beginning of the night with a first round pin.
That was beautiful.
It was very nice. And we're going to see if John Potts can pull off something just as spectacular. We want to take a second to thank the people that brought you this tonight. SK Wrestling is brought to you by the video production students here at South Kitsap, where you can also watch Wolf Tracks at 7:30 on BKAT Channel 3. And as usual, in the middle of our announcements, Potts gets taken down. Whisper lets him back up for 2, ties up the score. Definitely not wanting to wrestle Potts on the bottom. He may look like a big guy, but he's quick down there. He's prepared.
See John Potts right back in there, ready to wrestle. He's not wasting any time.
I've noticed from the last 3 CK wrestlers, they don't have orthodox stances. They kind of stand out there and look intimidating, that bad boy look. As whereas you see the SK wrestlers getting their hips down away from their opponent, that way they don't end up in trouble.
CK definitely trying to play the mind game.
Whisper trying to go for a high C. Potts not letting them have any of that, taking his face down in the mat, sprawling away from it. Now they say the key to your strength lies in your hips. And that's why wrestlers are always trying to take down those legs, where you can get leverage action against them. And
Definitely.
really, top control. Potts is going to go down. It looks like Whisper's making up whether or not to let John go and give him 1 point, or actually go. No, it seems we've had a mix-up. Whisper's going to go down, take the bottom position, look for an escape or reversal, and Potts is going to work with the single leg. It looks like he's going to either heel spike or trip. Go for the trip.
He's going for the trip
Working
here.
next for the heel spike, keeping that leg
He's
up
grabbing
there.
the leg.
Takes him back down to the mat.
Very nicely done.
Where the head goes, the body follows. Potts knows it and looks like he's locking hands down there. He's going to be in trouble, giving Whisper a point as soon as he lets go. There it is. Giving Whisper an undeserved point. Going to have to wrestle a little bit smarter than that. Get aggressive down there on the bottom.
Looks like John's going to cut him loose. He's going
Going
to
to
try
cut
and work.
him loose.
Gonna look for that takedown here right off the bat.
It may seem kind of ridiculous to let him go and give him 1 point, but again, when those wrestlers, rather than having a chance of reversal, they'll go for the takedown for 2, rather than giving their opponent.
Especially this late in the match. You don't want to have a reversal against you and then nowhere to go.
Potts getting buckled by Whisper for the front headlock, but it looks like Potts
Trying to shuck him by.
up and out, being the high man. Getting bear hugged. Oh, and a very, very close throw. I think both wrestlers are going to come back into the neutral position. We have some CK fans yelling, "Fix the score." What would be the score? Sure it's not 2-4? Again, Potts with 2, Winsper with 4. All Potts needs is a takedown to tie it up and then stay in the lead. And these two can go into overtime. Less than 45 seconds left in the last round.
Potts has a leg.
Where you see endurance.
You can see him. He's trying to suck it up.
Winsper almost getting to the 2 points. Just needs hip control, and there it is. 2 points. Potts is away. Potts brings him back to the center. Doesn't have a lot of time to bounce around. He's got to shoot and make his move. But he loses his balance. Some quick footwork by Winsper.
You can see John getting a little emotional. You can see it in his step.
We'll see how fast John can act with 7 seconds. Doesn't have time. Shoot! CK ups their score by 3. Team score now 14-9.
I just had a crazed fan yell shoot, and boy, I could hear it all the way up here.
Actually, that was me.
Oh.
Well, we knew it'd be a close one.
Moving on from 171 up to 189, Casey Watkins. Taking on Daniel Mayfield, Central Kitsap Cougars. Casey Watkins is a junior, is that right?
No, he's a senior.
He's actually a senior this year.
But this is his second year wrestling here at South. He didn't wrestle the sophomore year.
All-star football player. Overall, Casey is a very solid wrestler on all aspects. On his feet right now, on the bottom, and basically
Very
all around strong orthodox wrestler.
Very strong.
We see some unorthodox footwork by Daniel Mayfield. Working a front headlock again, coming out tough. Trying to spin it around. You got a spiral breakdown by Mayfield. Watkins up and out. More than likely, Mayfield thinking he can get, again, another 2 points to Casey's 1 for a takedown, but I don't think Casey's going to let that mistake happen again. Or at least not on purpose. Ooh, quick move by Mayfield, and they're out of bounds.
Well, appears to be a shove.
Little bad boy attitude from Mayfield. CK
And here
coach
comes
wants
CK.
to have a word with the ref. Both wrestlers going to go to the line, have a word with their coach. Watkins getting a word of advice. Drawn close to the halfway mark of the first round. Both wrestlers Casey's going to stop probably trying to muscle tonight. We've seen enough of that with Cathin and with Potts. So he's going to definitely want to work the technical aspect of wrestling.
Yeah, as we've seen throughout the night, CK is very physical.
Right now, SK, Casey Watkins, 1 point. CK with 2. Very, very close. We can definitely see Mayfield trying to be the more aggressive wrestler. But Watkins is going to hold in there as long as he can.
Watkins trying to hang on, but he's sitting down. And then he goes for his belly.
And it looks like we're baffled up here again in the Crow's Nest announcing tonight. That's not Daniel Mayfield at all. Actually, it's Josh Martinelli. A little CK trickery got us. Probably didn't get SK though.
Martinelli is one of the leading bad boys for the CK wrestling team here, as you saw a little earlier, showing some attitude out there on the out of bounce area.
Martinelli, not Mayfield. Martinelli's going to let Casey go. Martinelli with 4 points. Casey Watkins with 2. And after the last 171 match, now we're at 189.
CK will do anything to get a win here.
Definitely, it looked like at the beginning SK was going to start to pull away, but the CK middleweights moving up towards those heavyweights, definitely not showing any sign of letting up.
Right. They show why they're one of the premier teams in Washington State.
After we see Casey Watkins tonight, we're going to see Devin Spencer come out. 189. No, excuse me, 215 come out. Devin also heading to state. Casey Watkins may be going as far as regionals this year. Definitely a tough wrestler. You can see it tonight. Martinelli, a state wrestler. And you can see it as he works for 2. Martinelli lets him go. 3-6 now. Casey's got to get his head in the game. Start working for those takedowns and break open Martinelli's defense.
I think Martinelli will be looking to get those takedowns and let Casey Watkins up right away, because I think Martinelli has found out that he can take Watkins down fairly easily, and so he's going to be looking to get a takedown, then let him up, and then get another takedown.
Definitely the better wrestler on his feet. And I think Martinelli knows that. He's wrestling smart. Doesn't want to see what Casey can do on the bottom because he might end up in trouble. So he can stick to the same plan of play it safe for 2 and then give Casey 1.
And Casey's got a leg.
Looks like Watkins would have got a reversal right there, but they were out of bounds.
Score now, Watkins 3, Martinelli with 8. Just past the halfway mark to the second quarter, or excuse me, round. Lets him go, and Martinelli's going to look for that takedown. Watkins going to try to keep his head in the game. Martinelli is definitely wrestling smart, trying to exhaust Casey. Just going takedown and then working him. Trying to gas him out. Definitely smart wrestler.
Did not get the takedown there.
You can see both wrestlers fairly tired as they head in only the second round.
It's definitely been a very physical match.
Definitely. Last 3 matches being very, very tough.
Casey's going to look for a pin right here. He's 4 points behind, and he's going to look to put Martinelli on his back, stick him for the pin.
Yeah.
2 minutes on the clock. Casey Watkins now taking the up position. He's going to have to take Martinelli down. See if he can go for some back points and work the pin, because takedowns aren't working for him. Working Martinelli. He's got him on his hips, which is a bad spot. But Martinelli has his ankles. And Casey can't turn or pivot at all.
Looks like
to try and work him
stalemate
around
there.
it. Definitely. There's a coach, Mark Brown, once put it, who's a wrestling coach at Marcus Whitman. For every move, there's a counter. And that's the entire sport of wrestling. You move, he counters, you counter that, and it's back and forth.
Yeah, there's no end to the amount of counters you can do. There's a counter for every counter, and there's a counter for every move. Whole match can just be a bunch of counters.
Casey in a front headlock here.
For instance, right now, Martinelli going spin around Watkins. Watkins with 5, Martinelli with 10. A minute to go in the last round. Casey needs to spin around him. He's gonna spin around him and try and get his points.
But they're out of bounds.
Had he been a little faster, he may have gotten those 2 points and then worked him to his back. Martinelli's gonna actually come to the neutral. Huge crowd tonight, SK. 35 seconds to go. The score still stands with Watkins with 5 and Martinelli with 10. Martinelli now probably just gonna see how long he can take Watkins down, how high he can up that score. If he can get himself over an 8-point margin over Watkins, he can give his team, increase his team score with a major decision. 10 seconds left. Watkins
trying to hold on for something.
Needs to get to the hips.
If he can just climb up his torso.
That's the end of it, with Martinelli taking the lead with that 10-5 over Watkins. The score now becomes 14 to, I believe it'll be 12. Yeah. 14 to 12, so it's all very, very close.
The SK wrestlers only giving up decisions, however. So even the losses are cut to a minimum.
Only 1 pin tonight, which is exactly what we expected to see. Lots of wrestlers not letting any serious mistakes go tonight because this isn't amateur wrestling night. This is CK versus SK, which is huge, which would explain it's about the 500 or so, probably 600 people in this gym right now. Moving on to 189.
It looked like Coach Huderberg playing a little bit of a mind games with the CK coach.
Excuse me, I lied. 215. Devin Spencer, the Chicken Man himself. What can you tell us about Devin Spencer, Matt?
Devin is very physical, and he's also one of the better technical wrestlers in the heavier weights that I know of. So he's got technicality and strength going for him. And he's tall, so you might think to shoot on him, but he blocks himself very well.
Definitely a defensive wrestler. And he can get angry, too, and get after it and execute when he needs to. What do you think, Josh? I know both of you have really good experience wrestling Devin.
Yeah, not only is Devin scary looking, but he's a real unique guy, and he has that intimidation factor going for him. Big, pretty well statured, and he's a solid wrestler.
Also a solid football player, too. I'm sure Devin just plays football to get himself in shape for wrestling.
Devin plays sports all year. He's an all-around athlete, and I think he enjoys every sport he does.
Both wrestlers working on their feet. It looks like Spencer's going to come out on top of that throw. Jennings not going to want that. As they move towards the cheerleaders, going out of bounds. Devin's going to take 2. And Jennings is going to go down. Devin Spencer's going to work a little magic right here. Probably the chop, the Marcus Whitman chop. Now
trademark.
There it is.
Chop in the arm.
And Devin's famous for what's known as the Devinator. Explain the Devinator to him, Josh.
Well, the Devinator is a an upper body move just to pull the opponent onto their back and get him in a pinning combination. Devon's used it for a very long time, and christened it the Devonator.
Very
Looks like
intimidating.
he's going for the armbar right now. And trying to go for the head and arm. But Jenkins getting a lift and a 2-point takedown. Devin was in trouble there by trying to hold on to that head.
Can't reach
Probably
back.
very, very upset of himself right now. So we have a score. We have the score tied at 2-2. Spencer 2, Jennings 2, as the team score stands 14-12. So if Jennings comes out on top, even with a minor decision, the score will stand 14-15.
Yeah, South really needs this one right here. As you just said, the score is very close, 14-12.
Devin also a state alternate last year, so we expect him to return. And Devin has him on his back.
Devin has him on his back, already getting back.
That is exactly what South needed right there, a pin. That's 6 points, put him out in the lead.
At 1:35 in the second round.
Great job.
Devin ups the score 20-12.
See Spencer over there giving some love to the cheerleaders. Little high five action going on. He's excited that he won that match.
Hugs from football buddies all around.
SK crowd loves it.
There's SK's big man, Clayton Hutchins, football player. Really big guy, first year wrestling, but he is intense as they come. Really big and strong, like a
that
ox
is a
or
scary
something.
presence.
That's
out
a
on the
scary tattoo. That's
Yeah.
what gives the presence off.
mat. Even though he's a first-year wrestler, he looks like he knows what he's doing. He walks out there like he owns the place.
Hutchins has been on and off this year. Definitely a first-year wrestler, you can tell. Not with an undefeated streak or anything like that, but wrestling his hardest each time. And wrestling the better wrestlers, giving them a run for their money.
Definitely.
Hutchins' opponent here tonight is Robbie McNamara, who is also a football player.
Hutchins going to go for 2. As those big guys move it up pretty fast out there, being both very aggressive.
You'll see in the heavyweight division more throwing than any other division.
Surprising to see big guys like this, so prepared, and looks like they do know what they're doing on their feet here.
Haven't really seen a great heavyweight at SK since Buddy Anderson. But Hutchins may seem to fill in that spot as McNamara loses his headgear for a second. You can see the determination on Hutchins' face. He wants a piece of action. Right now the score stands 2-1 with Hutchins in the lead. But like we said, a lot can happen in a wrestling match. Just like we saw with Devin Spencer, the score tied 2-2, but he come ahead with a pin. We may see that from Hutchins.
Yeah, you never know when somebody can turn a match just completely on its head, and if Hutchins gets pinned here, Central will be back in this thing and then some.
Hutchins sends McNamara out of bounds. They're going to come back to the center in a neutral position. Both of them looking for a takedown. Hutchins has gotten one already. We'll see if he can do it another time. Working for the head, trying to exhaust McNamara. Robbie McNamara's not going to have any of that.
I've noticed tonight the refs are being very strict about out of bounds now. When you have one ref out there, they usually have a little leeway, but not tonight because this is obviously a very big match.
Yeah, it's a huge match for both schools.
You see tonight, actually in a lot of the upper weights, you see a lot of working at the head, which is a sign that a lot of grappling's going on, a lot of strength. You can tell both teams has been working out all summer, even through football season, and as soon as wrestling season comes around, that's when they start working on technique and whatnot. When the body's in shape, that's when you can do the most damage.
Definitely.
Looks like McNamara's getting pretty tired out there. He's sucking some wind, and Hutchins is really just going after him.
Not relenting.
First round winding down here. Hutchins 2, McNamara 1.
Just shove out of bounds.
McNamara almost steps on an SK cheerleader, trying to get Clayton's off of his face. Definitely knowing that where the head goes, body follows. Trying to keep that head away from him.
Hopefully.
Don't
want any decapitations down there on the mat tonight.
Definitely not.
Hutchins getting a word from Dias. Looks like go for the shot. Don't play with the head.
Yeah, that's the one thing you definitely see a lot of in the matches against big guys. You never hardly see any shots. It's mostly just head and arms and things of that sort. They're really trying to grab the head and overpower the other wrestler.
See, he's going for a shot, and
see
he
the throw there.
They're out
see
of bounds,
Hutchins.
but he had the takedown before they went out.
Hutchins already, before he even hit the ground, working a half Nelson on McNamara. McNamara's not going to like that. Especially being a big guy, it's hard for them to explode, to really get up out of there. So you might see a reversal, or you may just see him simply try and stand up. Looks like we have some blood time from Hutchins. I don't know, but it's Mr. Wilson, our old woodshop teacher. I see the athletic medicine staff hard at work tonight. Definitely, they're a big part of keeping SK sports going, stopping nosebleeds, treating injuries. SK Athletic Medicine going to state for the past few years, taking it home. Just a sign of excellence at South Kitsap in really all fields.
Working at the alternate position there.
Clayton Hutchins, 4 points to McNamara's 1. Both wrestlers in the neutral. Work it out of bounds.
Looks like McNamara got an escape there.
More blood from Hutchins.
Looks like his nose.
That's going to be tough for him. Because what happens when you get a bloody nose in wrestling is a very, very large cotton swab goes up both passages of your nose, which makes it incredibly hard to breathe.
Yeah, you have to breathe through your mouth, and that's not a fun time, especially when you're only halfway through the second round.
And it's interesting to know because that makes it tough for Clayton Hutchins, who's going to go out there and wrestle his heart out.
He's going to be sucking a lot of oxygen.
Yeah, you got to be careful with all this bleeding because you only have so much blood time, and if the blood time runs out, you have to forfeit your match.
Right.
And so they're really going to want to get this wound closed up so he can go out there on the match and wrestle.
Both refs very leery about blood on the mat. It's not something you want to be rolling around in.
Definitely not.
Looks like we're back in action. Both going for the head, staying aggressive, and going out of bounds. Clayton's back to the center, wants to get after it. It may sound silly, but that's something they teach down in the wrestling room. You don't want any downtime. You don't want to sag for any moment at all. Hutchkins 4, McNamara 2. McNamara only needs a takedown for 2 points to tie it up. Hutchkins definitely going to look. He's going to play with his head and keep gassing McNamara out. Try and get to his legs. But I don't think McNamara's going to let him have it.
Hoping for a pin or at least a major decision out of this. And he looks like for the head and
working the
arm.
head and arm.
Oh!
McNamara's going to get it for 2 points, even it out. And Hutchins going to take the down. So now we're going to see how fast he can get up, how fast he can get out of there. Well, I guess not. I guess that was a little late for that throw. So McNamara is still behind with 2 points to Hutchins 4. Hutchins coming back to the center, wants to be aggressive. Getting the signal from Coach Dias to get the head up and then go for the legs. Taking down the center of the string.
Yeah, I think McNamara will be taken by surprise if Hutchins goes for like an ankle pick of some sort and really goes for those legs.
There it is.
There it is.
McNamara loses his footing. We got 2 points by Clayton Hutchins. Hutchins going to come right back to the center and get after him as he's going to take the upper position. McNamara sucking gas down there, getting tired.
Yeah, Hutch would have a lot more points because that's twice he's put McNamara on his back, but each time they landed out of bounds, and so that he didn't get a chance to collect those near fall points.
Roscoe continuing to get the crowd on its feet.
Looks like we have an illegal hold by Hutchins. Full Nelson, it looked like.
Yeah, possibly.
Which gives 1 point to McNamara, ups the score 6-3. Still in Hutchins' favor, but he's got to be careful that McNamara doesn't go for the reversal. Hutchins trying to go for the ankle, but McNamara surprises him with a little bit of speed. Tries to go for a throw, but they both lose their footings out of bounds.
And you got the escape out of that.
Both wrestlers are in the neutral. McNamara really not going to give up the fight. Was 6-2, then 6-3, now 6-4. The end of the second round. A very long second round for both wrestlers. We go into the last one where we can see the test of endurance. Hutchins looks strong. McNamara looking a little winded, but still in there.
I think Hutch might want to just ride McNamara and let the time go out, try to get him on his back.
Good call.
Very good call. Definitely smart wrestling. We'll see how Hutchins goes.
Want to be careful.
Almost goes for an armbar. Now McNamara's out.
Switch in there.
Now we got a 1 point match.
Again, the signal from SK coaches to Hutchins that he needs to get the takedown. He needs to go for those legs and work straight into a pinning combination instead of letting McNamara up for one when they come back to the center.
Looks like we have some injury timeout.
Maybe a little more blood from Hutchins, or McNamara gets a word from his coaches. You can see him heaving down there. Any guesses at how much Hutchins weighs?
Clayton weighs probably from 240 to 250. He's one of the smaller heavyweights, but he definitely makes up for it in strength. I've been with this guy in the weight room, and he can lift a house. He's huge.
Definitely the spread for the true heavyweight is huge, going from 215 to 275. It looks like McNamara has the weight advantage on Hutchins, but Hutchins may have more muscle, and he's got a tattoo, which works well in his favor.
Yeah, tattoos are not only intimidation factors, but they're a little sign of toughness.
If we had a betting going on, I would bet for the guy for a tattoo over somebody else.
Every time.
Either that or the wrestler that slapped himself a lot.
Almost
Those
every
are always
time.
good wrestlers too.
Anybody that slaps herself or has a tattoo, or both,
Yeah.
is dangerous.
I know when I had to wrestle guys like that, kind of psychs you out a little bit.
Very intimidating. Hutchins wants his takedown. He needs his takedown. Otherwise, McNamara is only 1 point behind him. Scores 6-5. Hutchins leads, gets a single. Sees what he's going to do with it.
He's got to suck
McNamara's
it
going
in.
to take it away from him, but he's got to suck it up if he's going to do anything with it.
Yeah, he's going to need to get down and get in there
They
and
both
suck it
look
up into his
winded out
chest.
there.
And
he goes for a
get some
second
leverage.
drive. He gets on top. He's got the headlock. He goes behind him.
He's got to work through the hips, not to the head. They both go out of bounds. You can tell both wrestlers getting very, very tired. A wrestling match is 6 minutes, probably the longest 6 minutes of your life.
Both crowds cheering for their own wrestler. As time dwindles down,
Getting close to 30 seconds in the last round. Clayton's only up by 1. You see whatever little bit of energy he's got left is going to be used to go for a quick takedown to put himself up.
definitely. Any kind of padding here would.
it's getting about
Be
that time where you
appreciated.
got to be constantly on your guard. With only 25 seconds to go and you're only 1 point up. Being Clayton Hutchins, he has to be more on his guard now than ever because CK is really going to be looking for a takedown here.
This is definitely the time when you see a lot of roll-throughs, a lot of pins from people that shouldn't win because people get tired and lose their focus.
Many matches are won and lost in the last 30 seconds. There's only 9 seconds left.
Clayton's going to use a little SK power on him.
Just
Working the
can't let
head,
him go
working the
out of-
outside, keeping McNamara off his balance. That way he doesn't have a chance for a takedown.
3 seconds left. And he works.
Looks like Hutch will take this one.
Hutchkin comes off victorious, 6-5.
Good
Up
match.
team score South 23-12 now. As we go from 275 all the way down to 103. This is going to look a little scary, but here comes Tyler Hoskins. No. Doesn't look like Tyler Hoskins.
Jake
Looks like
Iliano.
Iliano.
As
Jake
we got a
Iliano.
last-minute switch in here.
Good thing we caught that one before we started saying Tyler Hoskins for the entire round. Iliano already wrestled a JV match tonight. Came off victorious. Iliano coming from Sedgwick. Coming in late in the season, too.
I've had the chance to work with him. Good little wrestler.
And now we go from messing with the head to a little more technical wrestling, or at least we hope. There it is, a quick move by Iliano.
You can see him reaching for the legs.
He's going to see Iliano versus Austin Templeton for Central Kitsap.
Templeton, one of the better wrestlers in the lighter division.
Entering the last 3 quarters of the wrestlers of tonight. SK is leading 23-12, But that can easily turn around if CK just gets 2 pins. 2 pins and they're in the lead.
SK is going to do all that's in their power to not let that happen, though.
Unfortunately, CK is going to be relentless about it, which is why Templeton has 2 points now with the takedown on Iliano. But it looks like Iliano might break Templeton down over that, his left knee onto his hip. Definitely not letting Templeton work because he's got that knee. And he's breaking him down, and if he can just get his hips over Templeton,
All Jake
he can
has
be
to
in
do
good shape.
is climb up. Looks like Templeton's working him down. Jake trying to
Templeton
squirm
moving
over.
for a cradle. Maybe even the ball and chain, which would be even worse.
We have my time.
It looks like we have some problem with Iliano's headgear, which you better fix, or otherwise, you know what happens when you wrestle without headgear.
Oh, yeah.
Cauliflower ears. You
I
take a
think
look at any one of the coaches.
Any
and you
one of
can
the
see it.
coaches. I think all of our wrestling coaches have some form of it.
Walking down the street, you can definitely tell anyone who's ever been a wrestler has cauliflower ears.
And even though cauliflower ear has nothing to do with personal hygiene, it's mostly just about the friction of the ear and the other person's body.
Like the past, what, 5 rounds? You've seen a lot of head action, a lot of smacking at the head. So you'll definitely feel it tomorrow, or at least those wrestlers will.
Yeah, I believe it was John Potts last year who had a touch of the cauliflower ear.
Yeah, cauliflower ear and ringworm are the 2 things you don't want to get when you're a wrestler.
Definitely.
Ringworm take out an entire team.
Gets on that mat and then it just spreads. Then
It looks like Iliano, it's taken off, having a problem meeting the coaches in the back room. So we're going to have to take a small break now, see what's the matter.
He might have been wearing compression shorts, and that's illegal for an athlete to wear compression shorts during a match if it shows. And that might have been one of the reasons why he is not on the mat anymore. And if that's the case, he's just going to go change and take those off and then come back here out on the mat, get ready to wrestle.
Again, team score stands 23 SK to 12 Central Kitsap. Even though it may seem that the Wolves are almost ahead by double, anything can happen really in a wrestling match. You can see a team really go down in the score-wise, but then once they get to their stronger wrestlers at the good weights, they can really turn things around.
Definitely.
3 pins, 18 points can make a big difference. Right now, SK was 0, Iliano was 0, and Templeton with only 2 points. So Iliano coming back, looking for that takedown on his own. And one of the hard things for high school wrestling is you don't see a lot of 103-pounders walking around the hall.
No.
You tend to recognize more of the Clayton Hutchkins, the big kids who play football and whatnot. So it's really hard for a high school team to get a 103-pounder.
Definitely. Definitely see a lot of forfeits in this weight class. But when you have the depth like SK does.
But definitely the 103-pounders you do see are true athletes who grind it out. Sheer muscle, little Bruce Lees.
Definitely. Yeah, most 103-pounders are sophomores, and that seems to be the case here. You can't really find too many 103-pounders that are seniors. They'll be out of bounds.
Iliano almost with an escape, but is going to go back down. Looks a little tired. Only in the second round, so we may see him gassing out in the third. And disastrous things happening. Templeton maybe with a pin later on. definitely being aggressive to Iliano.
Liano almost got an escape there, but unfortunately for him, they were pushed out of bounds.
Looks like
See Jake's getting worked.
Templeton's going for back points, and he's got a pin. I do believe that's CK's first pin of the night. That'll be 6 points, which ups their team score to 18. SK 23, CK 18. That's only 5-point spread. So another pin by CK, maybe from Ryan Numez or Tyson Hicks, maybe Kyle Kaudi. Any one of them can up the score. But we're going to see some of the best wrestlers right now. Brandon Kelly, Jacob Coppinger, and then the ever industrious Dustin Johnson, who looks like he's heading to state and may take the whole thing. Yeah. They're going to wrestle tonight. Now Brandon Kelly's coming out.
Dustin Johnson is definitely one of the leaders on this team. He went to state last year. He's a really great wrestler.
Looks like we have a forfeit here.
A forfeit?
112.
Looks like we get an automatic 6 points here for South Kitsap.
But that wasn't Brandon Kelly. A little trickery. Brandon Kelly is actually
Garrett
on the
Lyman.
mat right now.
Garrett Lyman went out there to take the forfeit, and now we have Brandon Kelly wrestling in the 119 weight class.
Now that's odd. You'd think CK would have a full team. Why would they forfeit at 112?
They figured to put their better wrestlers.
Maybe Brandon Kelly scared him off.
Seems the only chance that Central Kitsap has to win this thing is if they get 2 pins right in a row here.
Definitely. That looks to be their strategy.
SK1 now. Brandon Kelly with one and goes straight to the takedown. He may be a little guy, but for a little guy, he'll get right after you. Now 3-2 with SK up by 1. Brandon Kelly working, looks like a cradle.
That's one thing you can count on in the lighter division. Very explosive matches.
With only one match to go tonight.
Matches,
South Kitsap's
the
really
tide
gonna just try
turns
to not get pinned.
in an instant.
A 2-point reversal for Nunez. A 1-point escape for Kelly. That ties up the score 4-4. Both wrestlers in neutral now. Oh, you almost see the ankle pick by Kelly. A quick shuck, and then he's down on changing levels, which is the key to really good takedowns. Changing levels. So we have a takedown by CK, who's going to let him up. CK's been doing that all night, letting SK up. Doesn't want to wrestle him down.
And sheer force took over there. You could see the determination. He just wanted that one.
Great takedown by Kelly.
Brandon Kelly snaps like a bolt of lightning. Fast, working an armbar now. Wrestling on the bottom. Refs being extra careful with arm bars. Definitely can see a lot of bad things happen. Wrestlers keeping it safe. Brandon Kelly sucking Nunez back.
Half Nelson.
Not letting him sit out. And that's the end of the first round. The score 7-6 in Kelly's favor, only up by 1.
The CK coach out there again.
Crowd here tonight letting the CK coach know how they feel about him.
All 3 SK coaches giving Brandon Kelly a talk, letting him know that he's probably the better wrestler here tonight. You can definitely see it. He's just got to stay down there and not let Nunez play the back and forth game with takedowns.
Definitely.
You go straight for the pin, put the team up as high as they can, rather than going back and forth with 2 points at a time. Numes there sucking a little gas. They're going to go into the neutral position. CK's been wanting to play on their feet all night, not giving SK the real chance to work their magic down there on the bottom. Staying away from pitting combinations, staying away from getting themselves really in trouble.
Here. He's got
It looks
Kelly
like
on his
Brandon
back.
Kelly's not going to let
and
it
then
happen.
reversal.
Great
A
bridge
throw
by
and
Kelly.
roll.
Kelly just rolled him right through.
That's
He's
spectacular
trying to get
wrestling.
him back on his back after the initial roll through.
We have a potentially dangerous on Kelly. Looks like the score stands 9-12 in CK's favor.
A little mix
CK's
up.
going to go down. Kelly's going to ride him. Definitely looking to see what he can do to put him in a pitting combination.
Yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot of cuts from South.
Works the roll and chop. Trying to break Numes down.
He's trying to run that arm bar.
Reaching the halfway point of the match. Halfway through the second round. This is where you're going to see Kelly start working a little bit of magic. And you're going to see both wrestlers getting a little tired. Kelly gets two.
Works him for a takedown.
11-13 now. You can see the determination on his face right there. Thinking about how he's going to work him. Feeling the body, knowing what's coming next. 11-13. Kelly needs to get some back points now. Doesn't want to let Numes up because he knows he can gas him out here.
Yeah, Brendan Kelly will be looking to break him down and try to get some back points here. Try to end this one with a pin.
You definitely want to impress all your weight on him, and he's got him.
You see Jacob Coppinger on the side, who would normally be wrestling it this way, giving him a few pointers.
Kelly can't quite keep him on his back long enough to gain any back points.
Kelly's still down by 2. This is Pat Kelly's little brother. Pat Kelly, who had a loss tonight.
Narrow loss.
Both Kellys come from Marcus Whitman under Coach Brown. And Numes is going to let him go. All Kelly has to do is get a takedown, and he'll take the lead. Now 12-13. Kelly only down by 1. Goes for the ankle pick. But Numes has his head, so he can't quite get down low enough to get it. But he gets it. He gets it. But ends up in trouble. Almost back points for Numes.
There's no
Kelly
points
gonna
awarded
break
there.
that leg. Trying to build a base. Trying to work out of that.
Steps up with it.
Tries to suck
Trying
it
to
up.
come over.
But Numes is keeping his hips high. And those high hips aren't letting Kelly work around.
And he gets around. And he takes the lead 14-13.
Kelly now in the lead, 14-13. Back in the same position he's been for most of the night, working on top. Not letting Numes play the takedown game.
With a minute to go, he's looking for a pad on that lead he has.
Looking for the pin.
With a win by Kelly right here, that would put South Kitsap on top and take it right away for CK to even have a chance to come back.
Yeah, you definitely see a lot of hypothetical situations before you go into a wrestling match. Who's going to win here? Who's going to do the best they can? And that's really what it comes down to between a dual match.
Definitely, wrestling is a lot of strategy.
Kelly trying to
Close
put him
to
on his
15
back.
seconds left. Kelly just holding on now. Doesn't want to give up anything. Doesn't want Numes to get one of those rolls on him. 6 seconds.
6 seconds. It looks like Kelly is going to come out.
Looks like he gets it. Wins by 1
Are they
point.
they're going
Whoa.
to award him 1 escape
We have
point,
a call.
and it's a tie.
I bet South Kitsap
We have
really
got
wishes
a
they had
tie.
the instant replay option on this one, but that's only for the NFL, it seems.
The coach is debating whether or not Numez, or actually the referee is debating whether Numez has gotten his 1 point escape. And if he has, that's going to tie it up, and we're going to see some overtime. Sudden death.
Looked like to me that the buzzer already rang before he got a chance to get out of there.
Well, that's what it appeared to me. And it looks like we're going overtime.
We have some blood time. We're going to get a little rest. Both coaches coming out to the wrestlers and telling them what they already know. Whoever gets a takedown first here is going to win.
Right.
Those persons are going to get the 3. That person is going to get the 3 points. Maybe even a pin, because it is possible to pin in overtime. If you can go straight from a takedown into a pinning combination. But here we see endurance meets execution, and it looks like it's going to be Numez very, very quickly.
The SK crowd showing their displeasure. Didn't like how that one turned out. Many disagreeing with the late call by the refs.
And now we see the last match of tonight. We have Dustin Johnson. Coming off a sore loss to South with Brandon Kelly. Dustin's not going to waste any time. He wants to send people home as fast as he can, and he's going to go for the pin. Dustin Johnson has worked hard his entire 3 years at SK. Definitely taking to heart that mental preparation can take you all the way to state. Spending a lot of time under Derek Kipperberg last year, taking first place at 119. Derek went to state last year, wrestled very well. Dustin Johnson is also the ASB vice president at school. Spends a lot of time in ASB class. Definitely a leader. Comes from Cedar Heights. Goes for the double leg. The trip. Just needs hip control, and now he's got 2 points. He'll take the lead.
Got a scoring problem.
We have a small scoring problem. Looks like now the score is 4-1 in Dustin's favor. Both wrestlers look like they're going to come with a Kyle Coate in the bottom. And this is where Dustin really gets aggressive. He's tough on his feet, but when he wants to get you in that pin, he'll do it. Whether it be his half stack with syrup or just a plain half Nelson, he'll do it.
Yep. He's one to get the job done. He's looking for the trip.
Trying to keep Coate off his feet. I'm going to have trouble with that name all night.
Beautiful.
Trying to keep him off balance, moving him around. Just go for the trip. You could see Dustin working his leg ride, an arm bar, and keeping hip pressure on him at the same time. Attacking all parts of Coate's body. All of it. Right at the hips, right on the legs, not letting him up.
Definitely, he was.
Looks like Coates' only hope is to go out of bounds, but Dustin's not going to have any of that. Clock runs out, and he's ready for more.
Dustin always comes ready to wrestle.
Wonder if we'll see the half stack with syrup tonight.
I hope so.
That'd be a great pinning combination for Dustin, especially his last home match. You know, even if CK wins this one with 6 points, the Wolves are still going to be victorious, aren't they not?
Yes, barring some kind of upset. I remember not too long ago a junior high school match where the team victor was decided after the other team had won. The fans stormed the mat, and the ref decided to
Call the match.
Call the match right there. So, I mean, anything can happen.
Dustin Johnson takes Coat down on the mat rather hard. Still in the lead, 6-2. Again, tonight has been monumental. Amazing wrestling all around by everyone who walks out there on the mat.
A great team effort, very concerted.
You can hear it from the coaches to Dustin telling him to calm down. Wrestle relaxed, and wrestle smart. Dustin doesn't want to have any of that. He wants the pin, and he wants it now.
Yeah, he's looking to pin him right about here.
Working the ankles. Dustin's one of those guys with the tattoo that you don't want to find in a dark alley. You definitely don't want to wrestle out there on the mat.
Trying to bar that arm up.
Dustin spirals Coat down, not letting him get that 1 point escape.
Here at the end of the second period, we have Dustin up by 6 and CKS 2.
Coat sets himself. He's definitely going to be looking to score some major points here. The second round actually rounds down. It's over now. Coat only has 2 more minutes now to really do all he can against Justin.
This should be the last round between SK and CK right here.
Dustin doesn't waste any time. Goes straight to the down position.
You see that? Even as he comes down out of a fall, out of a trip, he comes right into a sitting position and hits a sit out.
Both neutral.
He has an escape. They go to the neutral point where Dustin takes his takedown, which ups the score, I believe now 10-2. Excuse me, 9-2. Dustin working the hip pressure, keeping Coat on his stomach. Tries to go for the arm bar. Cranks him back down. Remains strong. Looks like we may see the Auburn here, but he's got his legs tied up. Working a Turk.
Franking that head.
We see CK with stall warning, and it looks like a cradle.
Looks like he's got the cradle in there
Dustin's
pretty
getting back
tight.
points.
That's going to be a
This
pin,
could
it
be
looks
it.
like.
And
But it stopped.
it
Refs
stopped.
call it.
I think they should just give him the match right there. That was clearly going to be a pin.
We have a 5-point near fall with blood for CK. Dustin's up now by 11. If he can score 4 more points and CK takes none, he'll technical fall him, which is almost close to a pin. It just means Dustin didn't pin him before he outscored him.
Yeah, that's 5 team points, and the match is stopped automatically unless they're in a pin. So if Dustin gets 4 points right here, match will be over.
Dustin works the ankle, not letting CK up. Sits him down.
Looks like Dustin's really going to just ride him out here for the last 30 seconds, and because he's predominantly in control of this matchup, and if he just rides him out, that'll be it.
Yeah, he's not looking for anything really fancy right here. Just ride him out.
Looks like CK has some more blood. Comes to the center of the mat. Not ready. Again, Dustin with 13 to Kyle Kawoot's 2 with only 26 seconds left.
Picks him up.
You can see the score reflects Dustin's talent, which is why he's probably going to head himself all the way to the top of state. 125 this year at 4A competition. Dustin's one of the real leaders of the team.
And it's over.
And he pulls it off. That's the entire night.
Great wrestling by Dustin Johnson yet again. Giving the Wolves 14 points, making it 33-21. As we have
Well, it looks like
one more match.
Looks like we have one more match. James Thompson. James Thompson's going to make an appearance.
Seems we've had a little bit of an air up here in the booth. We thought there was only 2 more matches, but this is the last match here.
I guess both teams are playing a lot of trickery tonight.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of head
everybody.
games.
At least we got the SK names right?
Right.
That is Thompson out there. It looks like he's wrestling Tyson Hicks.
But you really never know.
Thompson picking him up with the single leg. Still no control.
James Thompson spent a lot of time with Dustin Johnson wrestling the 2. So you can definitely tell he's a tough wrestler. Does a lot of push-ups.
Right.
Yeah. He's probably, last year, he probably did the most push-ups out of anybody on the team.
I'd say so.
Definitely taking a lot of inspiration from last year's 152-pounder Kyle Calden.
Yeah.
Who is with us tonight out in the audience, as a matter of fact.
Actually, I've seen a lot of faces tonight of former wrestlers. Evan Winslow, who took 4th in state last year at 160. Tyler Hoskins. Or not Tyler Hoskins, his older brother Dean is with us here tonight.
Definitely a big match, and former wrestlers really want to see this. Great competition here tonight.
We see Thompson remaining in control, 2 points. Definitely working strong. You can definitely see how SK has
Gets
the
him on
advantage
his back.
in the lower
It could be
weights.
it right here.
Looks like it's going to be a pin.
He's
He has
got the
28
headlock locked
seconds
in
left.
there pretty well.
Tyler Hicks looks in trouble.
And he's trying to roll it out. And he manages to break the hold.
He managed to break the hold. 3 points for Thompson. Ooh, puts the power, almost goes for the power half. Thompson 6-0 now. Definitely being the dominant wrestler. And that's the end of the first round.
You can see some of the CK fans heading out the door.
Unfortunately, we don't get to see Thompson explode and earn his 1 point. Instead, Hicks just gives it to him. Which makes the score now 7-0. We see Thompson working his single leg. Gets the advantage and is working in there, gaining near fall points. That almost looks like a half stack with syrup.
Dustin Johnson's signature pin.
James Thompson tries it on for side. Just keeping a whole ton of pressure on Hicks.
Thompson is another one of those tattooed individuals with his name tattooed on his back.
He's definitely earned it.
Thompson working the half.
Going for more back points. Hicks hasn't scored once tonight. I don't think Thompson's going to let him.
Thompson
earning the back points.
Trying to get that other shoulder down to the mat.
If he doesn't pin Hicks here, the score is going to come out to be 14-0. But it looks like Thompson isn't going to let it up.
Very close.
You can see the pain on Hicks' face. He wants it. Working the power half right there. That's a Dave Dias move. He's going to ratchet him down and roll him on his back. You can see Hicks is completely exhausted. That's a really tough position to work out of. That's the end of the second. Hicks is saved by the bell. The score now 14-0. Thompson scores 1 point, just one. He technical falls and wins the match.
All James needs to do is get a takedown here. Match is over.
Hicks needs a takedown or something here to avoid that technical fall.
Trying to wrestle strong.
And there it is.
2 minutes.
He's got the takedown, and the match is over.
That looks like it's the end of the match. James Thompson, 16-0, wins with the technical fall. And that's the entire night.
SK wins it.
That's
38.
the entire night.
38-21.
Final score of the Wolves victorious comes to 38-21. 38-21. That one's going to go down in the history books. We saw a lot of
Most
great wrestling
definitely.
tonight by SK lightweights, SK middleweights, and SK heavyweights, as well as CK put up a good fight. What do you think, Josh?
I think that both teams gave it a great effort tonight, and it looks like the better team came out on top, even though CK was rated higher in state. It looks like South finally proved them wrong.
And now that the season moves on to wrestle-offs and what goes to districts, goes to regionals, SK's now Narrows League champions in wrestling again.
Again.
It looks like 4 or 5 straight years now being Narrows League's champs. And so I just want to thank you, Josh, for being here.
Well, thank
I
you.
want to thank Bo Pugh for joining us earlier in the show. And you too, Matt. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. This was the most fun I've had.
And all of you at home, we hope you enjoyed it tonight. And make sure you watch Wolf Tracks at 7:30 and enjoy yourself. Good night.
Bye-bye.